right, guys, you know the drill. If you can start getting the shares and likes on up, and just make sure you don't spam share. I don't know what really constitutes as spam sharing, but I don't know. A bunch of shares in a row, I suppose. What's up, Ray? You guys ever take like a capsule without water and it gets stuck in the back of your throat and then it opens up and the powder that literally just happened to me. I guess that's what I get for taking a capsule without water. But yeah, it just got stuck back. Yeah, it gets stuck back there and the capsule ends up like dissolving and then I feel the powder just, ugh. That wasn't smart, now was it? All right, guys, we are looking for opposition when you take a capsule pop. Yeah. Hey, Lisa, how are ya? Ooh, let me fix the audio before somebody comes on. I don't know why this does it every time. Okay. I think we're good to go. What's up, bro? All right, let's bring this guest on up. You are no longer going to Tennessee for Pride Month since they renamed it. What did they rename it to? Hey, oh wait, you're still loading. No. What's going on? Hey there. Nuclear family month, jeez. Hey, how old are you?
21.
All right, what's up?
I hate the LGBTQ community because the majority of them are mentally ill.
All right. Why do you believe that? So you hate mentally ill people?
I hate groups of people that are overwhelmingly mentally ill. Yeah, I would say that.
So like anybody that's in a hospital, so if somebody's in a psychiatric hospital, you just hate them?
Well, no. That's, you got to be careful there because...
Well, you're the one who says you hate mentally ill people.
No. You're talking about individuals. I'm talking about groups of people.
Yeah, a group of people in a psychiatric ward. You hate them. Just because they're mentally ill.
Depending on their group.
That's weird.
If they're gay, I hate them, yeah.
Why would you hate somebody because of something they... Like, obviously, it's not a mental disorder. That's not what it is. But even in your worldview, that's weird to hate that.
I mean, you could say it's weird all you want, but that's not an argument. My position being weird or anti your morality or even pro your morality doesn't really matter at all. So what actually matters is
why would you waste energy hating a group of people that like has no effect on you or anything like that?
I don't know how you guys hate people, but it doesn't cost that much energy for me to hate people, at all. But I can give you the stats. Then I can give you the stats though on majority of transgender people being mentally ill, like 73% being diagnosed.
I don't care if that's the case or not. That's not justification to hate somebody.
Okay, well,
I don't care if 100% of them were.
Okay, well, I mean, then that's just your argument. Then we have to agree to disagree there. Then.
Okay, but based on your hate, what is it that you're trying to do? Like, you can have your opinion all day. Are there laws that you would want to be implemented because of your hatred towards them?
Sure.
Like what?
Yeah. Like, maybe they can't be, they definitely can't be, like, in any social setting around children.
Like, at all? 100%. Like, so they just can't even be in public around children? So if they're walking somewhere...
past a child.
Okay, so they can be around
I'm talking about, like, working in a social setting, like, let's say you're a counselor at a school or at the YMCA or something like that.
Okay. Just because you're transgender? Just because you're transgender? Yeah. Okay. Why? 100%. Like what harm would that cause?
Because the majority of them are mentally ill.
I'm not talking about the majority though. Remember when we said we're talking about individuals? You said that. So on an individual basis, when you hire someone,
I said we're not.
You did. You already said that. Yeah. So you hire somebody on an individual. Sure, but you hire somebody on an individual basis, not a group basis. So when you hire them on an individual basis,
a trans person because the majority of them are mentally ill.
So but that's not a justification to not hire someone. Well, that would be unlawful. You can't just not hire someone because of a group of people.
Like, why not?
Because that's against like workplace laws.
Why can't I not hire someone?
Well, that you can't not hire someone on that justification
because the law
or on that
says
basis.
So? Like, that's an appeal to the law. Like, you have to give me something better than that.
It
you
is
just can't do that because the law said so.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's a fallacy. You're appealing to
it's not a fallacy.
We're
talking about the law here. You said you wouldn't hire them.
You're appealing
something
that can change.
Legally, you wouldn't be able to do that.
We're not talking about the law at all.
We are, but then you have to hire them then.
All right, I said transgender people shouldn't be allowed to be teaching children and be counselors.
So I don't want to hire white people because white people commit the majority of the violence.
Good for you. There you go.
So is that fair? That's fair?
It's fit. I don't care. Yeah. Okay. If that's how you feel comfortable, sure. Whatever makes communities more comfortable, in my opinion.
What's that?
Whatever makes communities more comfortable should go. So, if my community says they don't want any trans people in their kids, then we don't have any trans. I think that's true democracy. That's real Americanism. So,
okay, but again, and this is not appealing to legality. You just legally wouldn't be able to do that, though. So how would you go about things if legally you couldn't?
Let's say I had 3 applicants. One was a gay man, one was a lesbian woman, and one was a transgender person. Mm-hmm. I'm probably gonna pick the lesbian woman because they have the lowest rates of committing crime. Besides,
but again, legally you can't. But again, legally you can't do that. You can't hire somebody or not hire someone on that basis.
I could just say they're more qualified and hide my actual reason, and then what are they going to do? But
I mean, sure, you are allowed to lie.
So I could be like, oh, I did not hire him because he's trans. I hired him because the other guy's more qualified and I liked him better.
Do you have evidence that they're harmful towards children?
That they're what?
Do you have evidence that they're harmful towards children?
Well, no, I have evidence that they're mentally ill. The majority of them are mentally ill.
I'm asking, do you have evidence that they're harmful towards children?
I already answered that.
You didn't.
I said no. I don't need that, though. I can make an indicator that the person that's more mentally... Well, no, I can make an indicator.
But if there's no evidence that they're harmful towards children, then them being mentally ill has no effect.
So let's say, okay, then this is how bad your logic is. You ready? If a criminal's in jail for 10 years for armed robbery and he held someone at gunpoint or at pew point, would you trust that person with a firearm again just because he didn't pull the trigger?
You're equating 2 different things.
Exactly.
It's not a
just admit it was a logic fail.
I'll explain. I'm going to put you on mute and explain why that's not a gotcha. You're comparing somebody who has a history of doing that exact specific thing. Now, if this trans individual had a history of doing something harmful to a child, then yes, you can use that history against them. Them having a mental disorder or not is not evidence that they're going to be harmful toward the kid.
Really?
Yes.
So people that are diagnosed with mental illnesses aren't more likely to make rash decisions?
Yeah, if you have depression or anxiety, that's not evidence that you're going to be harmful towards a kid. I don't know why you just left. I didn't kick him. My hands were right here. I mean, it's a little difficult to have a conversation with somebody who's just so openly hateful. And for the record, for anybody that's joined in here, that is a Trump supporter that says, no, we don't hate them. You're just making it up. The guy literally, the first thing that he said is, I hate them. You were mass reported, sure. You weren't, because when you get kicked off via a violation, it lets me know. You can lie and make that up all you want. What's up?
Hi. So I'm actually not MAGA. I'm from Romania and even gay. So all I gotta say is Stan Luna. They're iconic. Bye. Have a good day.
I have no idea what you just said, but okay. Yeah, man. If you get kicked via a violation, if that's what you're insinuating, then I get a notification of that. It tells me guest was kicked because they violated XYZ notification or an XYZ violation. So you just made that up. But guys, we are looking for opposition, please. If you disagree with the background or voted for Trump, hit the request button. Hey, what's up, Twick?
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I just need to know your age, please, before we have a conversation.
43.
All right, what's going on?
Do you also agree that it should be taught in schools?
Like what? What being taught in schools?
LGBTQI.
Well, I mean, what specifically about them?
Well, let's start off with the youngins, like the family dynamics, the family tree, stuff like that.
No, yeah, I think that's fine, sure.
But what if, all kids ask questions. Like when
Good.
they ask the teacher, if they have two dads, then how did they make a baby? They're pretty smart nowadays.
Yeah, sure. I think it's good that kids ask questions.
So
Yeah, but I
what
think
would the
kids should be.
teacher say?
Well, I mean, that's up to the teacher to make that decision. But
What would you
they said
say
that.
as a teacher?
So if I were a teacher and a kid asked if two dads can make a kid,
Yeah, like
I
you
would
have
say
that.
they can either adopt or we now have like the science or technology where we can like make that happen. Um, but I don't think that's a
Whoa,
question I
whoa,
would have to
whoa.
answer in class.
Rewind, rewind.
I
What
think
did
you're
you just
thinking
say?
too much. I think you're thinking too much into this.
No, no, but what did you just say right now? That does the
We have the
technology
technology.
work
Yeah, we
too?
have the technology where you can make like a surrogate or anything like that. Like those are things that can be done, or of course adopt.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to two
But the
men.
answer would
I'm
be no
like,
different. The answer wouldn't be all that dissimilar from if they asked, "How does a mom and dad have kids?" Like obviously, a teacher wouldn't answer that specific question. You would have to answer it in sort of a roundabout way, so it's age appropriate. So not a whole lot different.
let me ask you something off the top of your head. Um, do you think the people in the uh, LGBTQI plus, or I could just say rainbow, right? Um, would you say there's more people that are distant from their family for any reason than they are close to their family still and being accepted for who they are?
I don't know. Anything I say would be a complete guess. Um, it would be impossible to say. What like why do you ask?
So you don't
I
want
don't know.
to
It would just
answer.
be a flat out guess. I honestly don't know. But what are you trying to get at though?
Well, why teach them family dynamics when most of the trans on here
Trans
don't
people.
aren't involved with their family? It's like an ironic thing.
Well, that's not really ironic. So, are you telling me if you had a kid in class who didn't have their biological parents in the household, then we shouldn't teach about moms and dads and family dynamic? That's weird.
Mm, my point is that all the adults here on TikTok, they hate God and any kind of Christianity.
I don't know what God
Number
has to do with
one.
this.
Number
God,
two,
but God has nothing to do
majority
with this conversation.
majority.
Twit, God has
I'm just
nothing to do
saying
with this
majority
conversation.
do.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with this
Okay.
conversation. It's irrelevant.
I'm just giving an example, like for instance, them being involved with their family.
Okay, but God's
That
irrelevant
has a
to.
lot to do.
Well, Miss Gunning, think the or God has nothing to do with that conversation.
Family
They should know.
dynamics.
Yeah, God has nothing to do with that. Why would
I
God
didn't
have
say
anything?
I left the God thing alone already. What are you talking about?
But then why did you bring it up to begin with?
Oh, it bothers you, huh? Wow,
I'm
probably
just asking
Achilles
why you
heel.
brought it up.
Oh, only reason why I brought it up is because kids that have LGBT parents will never ever get a chance to get into church. Ever,
There's
ever.
plenty of LGBT plus people who are Christian or other
Not
religions.
not majority.
Who gives a shit? That's their choice.
That's exactly right. It's not the kid's choice, and you're supposed to give
It
the kids, let them be who they want to be, right?
What
Let
does that
them
have to
be
do with
what they want
anything
to
that we're
be.
fucking talking about, dude? We are. No,
Wow, church
nobody's
is a
not.
real
Twick,
is a
nobody's
real
not letting
Achilles heel.
Twick. If anybody's not letting kids be, it's you guys, or forcing the kids to be straight when they're not straight, forcing them to be cis when they're not cisgender, or forcing them to be Christian when they don't believe in a God. You guys are the ones forcing shit upon them.
Okay, so
You're shoving stuff down their throats.
if you found a partner and had adopted kids,
Hmm.
right, or
Hmm.
had kids from the family passed to you, whatever,
Hmm.
that kid's probably never ever going to know or want to have a choice to be in a church because he's
Who
being
gives a
brought
shit?
up by you.
Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit? You're making a choice for that kid.
Twick, that has nothing to do with this
You're
conversation.
making
I don't
a
know why you
choice
keep
for that kid.
Twick. This has nothing to do with this conversation. I don't know why you keep bringing it up. And yes, if I had a kid and they really wanted to like go to church or something like that, then sure, I'm not going to stop them.
No, it's not about
I'm not
want.
trying to force religion or not down their throats, quote unquote. Like if they really want to explore some religions, then sure, you can.
Here we go. I don't want to talk to this person at all.
Is it because she's British? Is it because she's British?
No, because she's annoying as fuck. I'm talking to you.
Okay.
So,
guys, we can get to new guest at 15,000 likes. All right. So what's your next point, man?
All right. So at the same time, what else is being taught in school? Why do we need to know about gay people that did things in history? Why do we have to show that they were gay or they were trans? Why not just say who they were?
We don't. But if it's relevant to the conversation, then yeah, just as like we teach about anything in history.
You do.
Yeah, if it's relevant towards the conversation. So, Twick, if it's relevant towards the conversation in terms of like learning about gay pride history, then yeah, it would be known. But otherwise, you don't need to say somebody's gay or trans if it's not relevant.
Okay, give me 3 gay pride educational points. Can you give me that?
What do you mean, educational
3
points?
people in history.
3 people in history. What?
3 people in history that you would teach in history that you would put in as LGBTQ.
King James.
I'm asking.
It doesn't matter. The answer is still the answer.
Because you don't know the answer.
Twick,
you don't even know the answer.
It doesn't matter.
You don't even know an example. That's why.
If she gives you an answer, does it change anything?
You don't even know the answer. That's the whole point.
Twick. Is it true regardless if she says it?
No. She probably knows a lot. I'm asking
then
you.
Let her
you don't
answer
know
it.
shit.
Then great. Let
you don't
her
know
answer
shit.
It.
Just
it doesn't matter.
You don't know.
Twick, it's irrelevant.
Just concede that you don't know.
By the
Why
way,
are you pushing for something you don't know?
The guy that wrote the code, his name's Alan.
No. I understand. I know.
Shut up.
You don't know.
You asked the question. She had the answer. So what does that matter? Shut up.
Hey, Doug. How are you?
Hi, Erica. How are you?
You okay?
I don't care, Twick. Twick, this isn't a game show.
You don't know what the fucking questions are.
This isn't a game show. Twick,
sorry.
This isn't a game show where I have to answer every question correctly and I win a prize. That's not how this works.
You don't know.
And so what's your point? Let's say I didn't know. What's your point?
You don't know. You're an idiot.
Cool, I'm an idiot. Let's move forward with the conversation. Now what? Okay. Anyways, guys, we're looking for ops, all right? So if you disagree with the background, you voted for Trump, hit the request button. Hi, VM.
Hello?
How are you?
Oh, good, man. I just want to say to start, even though people disagree with you, I like how you're able, for the most part, to have a civil conversation. That last guy, he was just rambling. He really didn't even have anything intellectual to say or any point to make. But I will be quick. I'm not going to drone on and on. Just for some background, I worked for Trump in the 2024 election. I was the assistant to the deputy state director in Pennsylvania. I was actually there when he got shot. So I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Republican. This probably sounds really bad, but it was a job. You know, I somehow found my way into that job. I'm completely against him now.
Well, hold on, though. Hold on. Let's backtrack. So you worked on his campaign, but you weren't a supporter of him?
No, yeah, exactly. I know that sounds pretty immoral, but
yeah. Yeah.
Basically, just to make it quick, I had a really bad breakup, and I started praying. You know, I'm pretty spiritual as well, and I prayed to God for an opportunity. And I walked outside my apartment that day, and there were 2 canvassers out there for Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. And I'm like, why are you guys in Iowa? And they're like, oh, we're hiring people $24 an hour to travel to states and just go knock on doors. So I was like, well, if this is a sign, this is a sign. But I'm not working for the Republican Party no more. But my main point is, and it's going to be a little controversial.
Sure.
One thing, Twick, I will say, if you want to bring people closer to Jesus and you want to bring people closer to God, criticizing the way they live and criticizing everything about them is not something Jesus would do nor approve of. You should be ridiculed for the way you treat people.
Well, he's probably not even listening anymore. He probably ran away. But do you have anything that you specifically wanted to say?
Yeah. Let me just get this one point out. This is it. So this may be a bit controversial. There's racists out there. There's bigots. And then on the other side, there's trans people and there's the gays. I'm totally okay. Be with whoever you want. I think that's just, as you know, the government shouldn't be telling people what to do. But I think arguing amongst ourselves is actually what they want us to do. I think the whole establishment wants the Trumpers and wants the people who aren't Trump to be fighting. What we really need to do is, this is going to sound bad, we need to hold hands. We need to come together and accept each other for all of our single differences and fight the common enemy we have now, rather than be distracted by pointless arguments about gender and race.
I think that's
a government who's trafficking children right now.
Okay. I think that's terrific in theory, though. I just don't think that's something that's plausible, because I don't think a lot of people are necessarily going to want to hold hands with people that are voting against their day-to-day life.
But I'm with you on that.
But like, for example, thanks, Hector. Like, for example, somebody in the LGBT plus community, say a trans individual, I don't think many of them are going to want to hold hands with somebody who voted for Trump once, let alone 2 or 3 times, right? Like, they're holding hands with somebody who voted against their own existence numerous times, and so like they're, you know what I mean. So I
get that, and like that's the worst part about it, and like that. Honestly, I feel like it almost helps my argument more in a way. Bro, I know it's hard, but like the enemy of our enemy is our friend. You know what I mean? And
not always. Sometimes, not always, but.
Like when we sit, and I'm totally for it. Your open discussion is great, but when we sit here on TikTok, thousands of people streaming, and like I said, your stream is great. You don't talk over people, but I feel like that's what they want us to do, man. They want us to argue, like, truly. But like you said, I don't think it's possible on the right or the left.
What would be a realistic solution, though? Because holding hands is not a realistic solution. What would be more realistic?
I didn't mean holding hands.
I know you meant. I know you meant figuratively. But realistically, what would be more of a solution in your view?
That's tough. I mean, honestly, I got the main base point of, we all need to come together, but something needs to, I don't know, maybe a march, maybe we all stop going to work. I don't fucking know, dude. Maybe if everybody stopped going to work, something would change. But that sounds moronic. But.
Yeah, I don't know if that would necessarily change like some of the hatred that people have towards each other. That would change some things as far as, I guess, say capitalism goes, but I don't know if that necessarily change some of the views that people have towards each other.
Just like the people who were in the Klan had to let go of their hate and their their animosity towards the African American community. The LGBT and the left have to do that too, man. Like, I really do think so. Man.
Hold on, but I know, but expecting people to like anybody in the community that was affected by the clans to just quote unquote hold hands with them. Obviously, like that's not what happened.
It's a tough proposition to make, man. But have you watched Game of Thrones?
I haven't seen the series. I obviously know about the show, but no.
I'll break it down super quick. There's basically, the two kingdoms are going to war with each other. They fucking hate each other. And on the northern border, there's an army of fucking completely undead, indestructible fucking zombies that are coming into the country. So the liberals will say they go to what would be Washington and they sit down with all these enemies, these people that fucking absolutely hate them and they've done vile shit to. And they basically say like, yo, we have a bigger problem than what our petty infighting over politics and whatnot. We have a literal fucking like army of the dead on our doorstep.
I see what you're saying.
In this analogy, who are the army of the dead?
It's the government, the administration, Democrat and Republican.
But
they all need to go.
Hang on. But aren't the administration, in this analogy, one of the parties that are at war?
What? Well, yeah, they are, but it's not a literal war.
The problem with your analogy is that neither of the parties there were multiple parties at war in Game of Thrones. Actually, it wasn't just two.
I was simplifying it, yes.
But the problem with your analogy is that if it were to work, one of those parties that is at war would have to be on the side of the White Walkers, and that wasn't the case.
Why? Why would either of the parties have to be on the side of the White Walkers?
Okay, because MAGA are on the side of the government, on the side of Donald Trump and the Republicans who are currently making up the government.
I agree, but let's just take the White Walkers out for example. Yeah, I agree. The thing is, honestly, I think MAGA is fucked. It's hard to say, but guys, I worked for Trump. I was there when he got shot. I did genuinely believe in him for a while. Bro, he's on the Epstein list. Elon Musk said he's on the Epstein list, man.
Okay, I have a question. Who did you vote for?
I didn't vote because I didn't have an ID. And if you're one of those people that says no vote, no voice, I'd argue that's fascist. I lost my ID because I was traveling, so I literally I could not vote.
I wasn't gonna say no vote, no voice. I was just asking, who would you have voted for if you'd had your ID?
At the time, I probably would have voted for Trump.
Cool.
The thing is I'm not a Republican. I'm not a conservative by any means, but I'd argue I'm an anarchist. And the thing is that Trump was a good thing. Trump was the guy who was basically saying, I'm going to fuck up the system. I'm going to break the system. Watch me do it. And for an anarchist, that's appealing. That's like, holy fuck, maybe that's actually what we need. But, I was brainwashed like the rest of fucking MAGA, man. I mean, all of us wanted the Epstein list out. All of us wanted to not start any more wars. What are we doing now? You guys will make excuses for yourself, MAGA. And I want to forgive MAGA. Everybody needs to come together. We can't hate each other, guys.
Can you stop? Is it possible for you to stop talking for a second? Is that a thing that can occur?
You're sassy, but sure.
Correct, and proud of it.
Good for you. I'm glad.
Did you observe Donald Trump's first presidency?
Yeah.
So what made you think that the second time around he was going to break the system?
I wasn't very educated back then when I first voted for Trump. Actually, I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Hillary in 2016. That's crazy. I'm getting all mixed up. And I still regret voting for Hillary, but okay, what was your question again? I'm sorry.
Right.
Well, I completely, absolutely detest Trump. I think he's an egotistical narcissist who probably did stuff with kids. And I think all the people who supported him, especially MAGA, if you call yourself MAGA, you're not looking at the facts, guys. Like, think about it. I worked for Bernie in 2016, so at that time I could not in any good conscience support Hillary Clinton because if you remember what happened, Bernie was supposed to be the Democratic. Yeah, I did. Well, I mean, this is 2016. I had far different opinions in 2016 than I have now. But I can vote for Hillary and still dislike Donald Trump. It's not mutually exclusive.
I'd say most people that voted for Hillary dislike Donald Trump.
Yeah. I mean, probably all. But yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. We need to come together. I think this useless infighting is doing nothing but hurting us. And I'm going to remind y'all, our government is trafficking children. So please remember that.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he did. Well, he said I didn't it was just a job. I didn't. Yeah. And then he said I didn't vote because I didn't have an ID. And then when asked who he would have voted for, it was Trump. So it wasn't just a job. I also think if you're actually an anarchist, there's no way you'd have worked on any political campaign ever.
Hey, what's happening? 42, California. Did you say my place where I live? A couple things here. Regarding the one thing that you just said, this isn't even why I'm calling you. I mean, not why I'm talking to you, is that you just said something like, would you vote for Trump if you knew he did this? Did you vote for Biden? Did you see him sniffing kids and totally pulling kids in and making them feel uncomfortable? Did you ever, he did it for 20 years on TV. Did you see any of that when you put the vote down? Well, a couple things here. First off, his daughter had a diary and she said, and she never retracted it. In fact, she sued to get that diary back. Nope. Can you show me? Mhm. Can you show me a source that says that she retracted it? I just want to know. Mhm. Mhm. Okay. Yeah, I just want to know. Can you show me the source on that? I'm talking about Joe Biden. We're not talking about Trump right now. We're talking about Joe Biden and you voted for him. I just want to know if you would retract your vote now that you know that. If that's true. Yeah, her diary. Yeah, his daughter's diary. Well, how about, so I asked you a question though. Right now you can go watch a video. Wait on. Did you vote? I said, I asked you a question. Would you? Nope, that's not true. You know why? Because this is a first person response though. This is his daughter. Okay, so where are those at? Where are those people? No, no, I'm not talking. No, no, I'm not talking about Jane Does that came up and canceled. I'm talking about direct people that have come up and made a statement. But I'm asking you, would you retract it? Would you retract it if that were to be true? Because I'm looking at right now. I just did another stuff. Okay, did you know that? Okay, have you seen the videos where he's pulling girls in and whispering into young kids' ears? Would you do that to a kid? Would you do that to a kid? I'm asking you. Would you ever? Yes. Would you whisper in a kid? Don't tell your mom. Don't tell your parents.
Hang on. Who, right. Yeah. And also, who were the kids?
Go look at them on film. They're on film.
Yeah, but who were they? Because I know who they are.
Okay, who are they? And why are they pulling?
His grandchildren, and one of them was specifically at his son's funeral. And he, like, this is weird, right? I don't know. Like, everybody fucking sniffs of baby because they smell delightful. They smell like baby powder and
Everybody
like
sniffs a baby?
innocence and goodness. Have you never sniffed a baby? They smell
I've never
delightful.
sniffed a baby. No, I have not sniffed a baby. I don't go into strangers' babies and sniff them.
Who
And
says,
I'm not
who said strangers? Hang on. Who said that they were strangers' babies? I wouldn't go up to a stranger and start sniffing their child. But I have absolutely, if somebody has handed me their baby, I have absolutely, because they smell of baby powder and delightful. The kids that you are alleging that he did bad things to, and that they're his grandchildren. Kids that were related to him, and one of them specifically was at his son's funeral. And by the way, as far as I'm aware, sniffing a kid is not illegal.
So the videos that we see online with the children pulling away from him, you can tell they physically feel uncomfortable. You're going to tell me that's not real? Okay. I know that's exactly what I'm saying. Right. I'm just saying you have selective outrage where you ignore Biden, but yeah, you do. You have selective outrage. You just had your other person there said that, dude, your guest just said that everybody sniffs babies. Dude, that is insane. I have no idea, but I know according to his daughter, he took inappropriate showers with her. No, go, and I asked you to show me a source and you can't find it. I just did a search right now and it says she has not retracted it. Okay, where is that source? Where'd you see that? So the court file said that she said that did not happen? What did she say? Read the quote. I'm just going to transcribe. I'm going to find out. Wait, what? Yeah, because I'm just saying that it's selective, dude. That's the problem. I would say that it's selective outrage. We can find things on both sides. I mean, we can find things. I think that what happens is people overlook the things that they don't agree with and go with the things that they agree with. That's what I think. About as much as you are. As much as you are. As much as you are. If there was something of credible, okay, well, why isn't Trump in jail? He doesn't want him to. He doesn't want him to be in jail. Biden administration had. I'm just saying, why didn't Biden's DOJ go after him? We're finding out now that more even exactly for what? I'm saying, why didn't the Biden administration? They didn't go after Trump. Is what I'm saying. Why didn't the Biden administration go after Trump in the Epstein files? You don't think that they had access to those files? So when someone goes and files a charge of like grape, you don't think that just gets overlooked because it's not in the files?
Hang on.
You know what the files are? The files are accusations.
Billy,
the files are accusations.
Billy, and so is anything in a diary. And yeah, so is anything in a diary, and so is your idea that what Biden was doing was nefarious in some way. That is also an allegation. But I just want to point out, first of all, Jeff and Ghislaine Maxwell were both being prosecuted, and the Southern District of New York was undertaking a specific investigation. This is the FBI were undertaking a specific investigation into the allegations made in the files. What then happened was in January of 2025, when Donald Trump took over, Pam Bondi requested that the Southern District of New York stop their investigation and hand over all of their files to the federal government, which they did. The federal government then did not do any more investigation on those files. And in fact, what they said, they were the files that Pam Bondi said, we've just found, I don't know, like 1 million more files that we need to look through. They were the ones from the Southern District of New York. So there was consistently throughout the Biden presidency an investigation being carried out, but they hadn't reached the conclusion of that investigation in order to file charges.
So let me ask you a question. Let's say that you have a kid, right? I don't know if you guys have kids. Let's say you have a kid and your kid was violated by somebody, right? You're going to go and you're going to file charges at a local police department, right? You're going to say this person did this to my kid. Oh, you're not.
Individuals don't file charges. The police department. Okay. No, individuals don't file charges. Individuals make a complaint to the police department.
Okay.
They have their testimony. They are then interviewed, but they don't file charges. Charges are filed by a district attorney.
Okay, so are you saying that these people actually went and filed complaints and the police departments ignored them?
There are, yes.
Okay, what files are that? Okay, can I see the files?
I can. There was a tip. There was specifically. I can tell you one, and then I'll go find. Hang on a minute. I can tell you one particularly. There was one where there was a tip line open. Right, there was a tip line, and there are a ton of tips. Some of which the allegations are horrible. I'm not going to repeat what they are. Mm-hmm. Trump's name is mentioned in multiple of the allegations. Mm-hmm. In some of them, they weren't fully followed through. In some of them, it says the witnesses were deemed, or the people were deemed not credible. But in some of them, they didn't even follow up. I'll go find the file number of that for you, by the way, so that you can look it up yourself. But
back to our thing, though, dude. It's all selective outrage, man. It's like
really.
I said, I can go watch right now and go to YouTube and watch Biden's. Just type in Biden's child.
Yeah, Biden's not president though. So
no, I know that. I asked you if you supported him though, and you said you did.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so but he also didn't F little kids, Billy.
Well, you have no proof
Billy, there is more proof that Trump did that than Biden did.
There's no proof. So, I don't care about allegations.
Great. So you don't care about Ashley Biden's diary, then, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Do you or do you not care about it? Do you or do you not care about Billy? Do you or do you not care about her diary?
I am saying if we're going to talk about
just answer yes or no. Do you care about it?
If you care about allegations, then I care about allegations.
So answer the question. Do you care about it? Right. Do you care about her diary?
I care about it as much as you do.
Do you care about it? Yes or no?
I care about allegations as much as you do. That's
yes
my answer.
Or no, Billy? Yes or no,
Do you
Billy?
care about the allegations? Yes or no?
Billy, you can't turn this around me just because you're too much of a pussy to answer a question. Because you're too much of a fucking pussy to answer a question.
Yeah, you're a pussy, dude. You're a straight up.
All right, you're the guy who's you're defending someone who did god awful things to kids. It's all over the files, and you don't even want to acknowledge it whatsoever. Okay, if somebody wants to investigate what Biden did with his daughter, by all means, go ahead. Can you say the same thing about Trump?
If Trump did anything to kids that was provable, not allegations, I would 100% support full active. Throw them in jail. Throw all the pedos in jail. Hollywood.
Great. Why isn't the DOJ investigating it then?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm not the one who voted for them. I didn't vote for them.
You don't know either. You don't know either. You're not like on some CIA intel, dude. You don't know the intel.
Didn't vote for them.
You're a TikToker.
Didn't vote for them. Didn't vote for them.
Right.
I didn't vote for them, so I don't have anything to uphold.
Cool. You voted for Biden. He's a child sniffer, and you voted for him. You didn't care.
Cool. Okay.
All right, so that's not why I called. Let me get this other topic, though. This is a totally different topic. I look at the last like 50 years, right? And this may be a little tinfoil, but I look at, there's something that's changed in the human race. You look at LGBTQ, trans, abortion, all that stuff. And then you look at people not having kids now. And then you kind of look at it, right? And you see we have this huge drop off. I think it's 50% less people having kids from like 1960. I'd have to research that. Don't hold me to that number. I think it says that's a 50 to 60. Yeah, it's a 50 to 60% drop in the Western world from the 1960s of people having kids, right? And you think about what is life, right? Like why is like what is the purpose of life? I don't care if it's an ant, if it's a mouse, if it's a cat, if it's a dog, if it's an animal, lion, human. I don't care. What is the purpose of being born, right? Well, you could make an argument that the purpose is to expand your species, right? I mean, to procreate and have kids and go on and all that stuff.
Thank you, Tammy. W Tammy in the comments.
Someone told me to look at his following list, which I didn't do because I was collecting food. I can only assume that it wasn't great to look at, which is weird for someone who's so keen to defend children.
I don't like. I thought we were done hearing about Ashley Biden at the diary. I thought that was sort of done and over with, but I guess not.
Who was that guy that used to come up and he was just obsessed with Ashley Biden's diary? I can't remember his name.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, there was. There was
anyway,
somebody that
missed you, Dougie. I haven't seen you for a few days.
Yeah, I wasn't live yesterday or the day before, so I'm trying to be better about like being more consistent in terms of like not going live twice a day for weeks on end and then going off for a week. I'm trying to be more like consistent, just taking 1 or 2 days off a week.
Yeah.
That way I'm not like burning myself out.
I get that. Right, I'm just letting you know if we get any Phil Bros, I'm dropping. I've had my fill of Phil Bros.
Phil Bros. Hey guys, if you disagree with the context of the background, you voted for Trump, please hit the request button at the bottom. If you're watching on YouTube, if you can hit the subscribe button as well, please. And anybody who's watching live and enjoying it, click the follow button, subscribe, and send in your heart me on TikTok if you can.
I had a whole argument with a Phil Bro earlier who was trying to make an argument that Donald Trump, what's his name? Who was the first president? His name escapes me because, perimenopause.
The first like George Washington?
Yeah, George Washington. He was trying to make an argument that George Washington did in fact have airfields during the Revolutionary War.
Oh gosh.
And he was like, well, I can make an argument that he did. I don't want you to make an argument. Hello? I want you to show me information.
Miss, how old are you?
I am 20 years old.
I feel like this conversation isn't going to last a whole long time. So, what's up?
So that's not LGBT. That is LGBT.
Your opposition hits a request button. I know there's a couple of friendlies in the request box. I'm just keeping it with Erica for now. So just any other friendlies, just hold off for the time being if you can, please. What's up, Donald? Donald, how are you?
Oh, good. How are you?
Not bad. I just need to know your age, please, for TikTok terms of service.
57.
Great. All right. And what is on your mind?
Well, I like Donald Trump, and I do not hate really anyone.
Okay, you voted for Trump, you said?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on the LGBT plus community?
I think that they likely feel repressed, hurt, angered at MAGA because of some people in MAGA who have made idiotic statements and hateful statements, right? Mm-hmm. So I just think it's probably not a good idea to label everybody as doing something when that's not reality, right?
Well, I mean, listen, though. So this year alone in 2026, there's been, according to the ACLU, if you know who they are. There's been 505 anti-LGBTQ bills introduced to Congress this year alone, and we're 4 months into the year or so. And these are all by Republicans. So when I say that, it's the party, Trump's obviously part of it, that is pushing forward this sort of legislation that we see that harms the community. Thanks, Gabby.
Yeah, I mean it's hateful, it's mean, it's misunderstanding, it's not wanting to understand.
Sure, but if you voted for Trump or Republicans in general, you're still voting for these things that are harming the community, whether that's your specific views or not. That's sort of my point of the prompts.
Right.
So how do you justify that? Like, how do you make that work? Where in your head you believe that you don't have any hate or animosity towards the community, yet the people that you vote for, they put forward things that harm them. How do you reconcile that?
I should be fair that to say that, when I choose a candidate, I've never chosen a candidate ever who I've agreed with 100%. But not only that, I didn't realize how anti-gay the whole movement was when it was vote time anyway. So,
really? By 2024, you didn't realize that every other word out of Trump's mouth was transgender this, trans that?
I voted for Trump the first time. But
you didn't vote for him in 24?
I didn't vote at all.
What about in 2020? Did you vote?
Yeah, 2020.
That was Biden against Trump.
No, I voted for Trump the first time he ran, whenever that was, 16 or whatever.
All right. Do you plan on voting in this upcoming election, or where are you at with that?
Well, I'll just briefly tell you this, and I know I'm not the only one that thinks this out there, but I don't have any hardcore fact proof of this. It's just a feeling I have. But I don't think the people choose the president. I think there's a small group of people that are obviously the most powerful people on earth in Washington who actually make that decision. And then they make needs to happen.
So what's the point of the Electoral College and us voting?
Well, I think it's set up to be that way, but I think the reality of it is, let's say a candidate, looked like they were going to win, but it was close. Well, the people in power who believe, hey, this candidate's going to be better than this one, is not going to let that happen.
I have a question for you, if that's what you believe. How did those people decide then that they were going to have Donald Trump for 4 years and then not have Donald Trump for 4 years and then have him back for 4 years?
I'm not a part of that committee. I have no idea how they do it.
But just logically, can you explain to me how that makes sense that they would do that?
That there can be reasons that are well above any of our imaginations. I don't know. I don't have one.
Because it doesn't, logically, that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, on the surface.
And if they thought that he did a good job not even necessarily a good job, because the implication of what you're saying is, well, a good job for them, I guess, for whoever these powers that be are, why would they want to put in that? Presumably they must have thought that Joe Biden would do a good job for them, and then presumably they would have thought that Kamala Harris wouldn't do a good job for them. So if you're against these people, the powers that be, why aren't you a Harris supporter? Because if they're evil and terrible, then Harris would be the one that you would want, no?
Well, for me, it's always been about the least harmful candidate, right?
No, but if the allegation that you're making that the people don't actually choose the person is true, and that they're just being chosen by a small group of people who presumably are what people call the deep state, then why wouldn't you want to support the person that the deep state didn't want?
Wait, why wouldn't I support? Well, the deep state is involved in Democrats and Republicans, so that's always there. They're always there.
That's not answering my question. If they thought that she wouldn't be a good choice, because the only logical reason I could think that she wouldn't be a good choice is that she wouldn't do what they wanted her to do, why would you not support her? Because she's presumably not going to do their bidding to the extent that Donald Trump is.
But I'm not saying that these people who are making the decision are evil.
Well, hang on. If they're giving you the illusion that, or giving, not even you, because you've cracked the code, but if they're giving the American public the illusion that they have some choice in what's going on, isn't that evil?
You guys, 45K we can get to a new guest, 45,000 likes.
So they are evil.
I really don't know them. I'm just saying I believe that's the setup. That's all I'm saying.
Who's a part of the deep state? Like, what sort of people is it made up of? Like, who are they?
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
I have no idea, dude.
But then how do you know they exist?
Because it's the only thing that makes sense. You really think that the powers that be are going to let the people of the country choose the president, the most powerful person in the world?
So who's the powers that be then?
Who knows? I mean, there are some people up there. I don't know who they are, or no one knows who they are but them and their group.
Well, that doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense then.
Well, I don't know. I just kind of think this is just my opinion, right?
I'm aware. I understand. I'm just challenging it.
It's just that if you've got, the most powerful people and nation on the planet, right? I think it's not so out there to think that the people that have the power might be like, well, this is too important to let the people choose. So,
well, I mean, sure, but to what Erica said, then, like, if they went from Trump to Biden to Trump, then clearly, like, there's not a certain person they want. Because if it was Trump, they just would have had him elected in 2020 again.
That's what we would think. Yeah. I don't know.
Then maybe there isn't a deep state because that doesn't seem to track them.
Maybe there was a reason they wanted Trump out first term. Is that possible?
Can you think of any reason they would want that?
That would outweigh just him winning just by the way that we know every president wins, or loses for that matter. Because you have two options. You have your little conspiracy theory of they took him out, brought him back in for whatever reason, or you just have he just won or lost because the Electoral College.
Well, also, if they wanted him out and he was doing their bidding, why did he say that the election had been stolen? That doesn't make sense.
Well, maybe because perhaps it's because the people that were making the decision, whoever they are. I'm not saying it's the same people every year making the decision. I'm just saying there's a quote unquote committee in my thinking that makes the decision. So maybe that committee wanted Biden.
So do people get to vote for the people who are on that committee, or how do you get appointed?
We obviously not, or we would know about it. But I don't know how they get appointed.
Do they change the votes? Because at the end of the day, it is the votes within a state that allows that the state to win in terms of electoral votes. Like how do they change that? Let's say they wanted Trump to win in 2020, right? Yet Biden got, most of the votes in Georgia, right? How come they didn't change that? Or how would they change that?
Well, I kind of like to ask a clarifying question to answer that question.
Sure.
So in Georgia, since you brought up Georgia, did we not all see the electoral people pulling out suitcases of ballots after the things closed? Did we not see that?
What does that mean? What does that
What do you think? What do you think that means?
I don't know what suits. I don't know what that means. Like suitcases of.
I have a question. When do ballot papers arrive to be counted? Do ballot papers arrive? Ballot papers from the day, do they arrive to be counted before the ballots close or after the ballots close?
Who are you asking? What was that?
You. I'm asking you. So on the day voting, on the day of the election, is it the ballots would always arrive after the ballots have closed?
Right,
Wouldn't
but
they?
when they right, or at least the majority of them. But I'm saying I'll have to go look for it. I haven't cared to look for it since I saw it, but of when the office is closed or whatever, or to the
Hold on.